Oh,
Just the soundboard.
do we want to take a look at that again?
Just look at Will. Look at as well. I you.
I'm ignoring you.
You gotta do that to Lane. Of course, I could cut you. Look at that. We have code going on, buddy. Anyways, how you doing, Casey?
I'm doing good, Kevin. How you doing, buddy?
Doing well. I got an itchy scalp because that stupid rash is back, but you know what? It's not too bad.
I told you to use that oatmeal stuff.
It's not that. It's like every time I sweat now,
It
I get that rash again.
Rash?
And like I was shoveling snow, so I was just
Oh, yeah.
You had snow?
I had over a foot. It's about 1.5 feet of snow.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Yes.
in my yard.
Yes, we have lots of snow
Oh, tons
down
of
in
snow.
Carson and Gardnerville. Lots.
That's awesome. I think that's just so awesome.
You would.
Because
It's not on the mountain, though.
I've
so
only got 4 inches at my place.
You only got 4 inches at your place? How lucky are you?
I'm freaking lucky.
Dude, I'm sitting there shoveling, like, I shoveled like every couple hours just so I make sure I can get out.
Right?
I drove over it.
I know you did.
Yeah,
but
I was like,
I made sure I can get most of that done.
Well, if you can drive over it, your wife can drive over it, right?
No.
No.
Hers is a sedan, so, I mean, it might not work out as well as she would like. But
Yeah,
as well as I would like, I think it would be interesting enough.
It's just going to get stuck.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
What's the sedan?
It's a Chrysler Sebring.
Oh, really? Hard top.
Yeah, hardtop, and not 4-wheel drive.
No.
No.
2-wheel drive.
I don't even think it's front wheel drive, is it?
It is.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, that's the only way she gets away with it.
The only saving grace is the front wheel drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we were thinking about getting her a new car now, and it's just one of those things. Like, do I get her a new car? Do I get me a new car?
Well,
I'm
whatever.
like, which one would make more sense?
Well, it's interesting you say that because you really need to wait.
Yeah, I am
Right.
because I'm watching prices slowly go down.
Well, and it's not just the prices going down, but
Interest rates.
the interest rates more than
Yeah.
anything else. It makes it affordable. And it's funny is one of the things that I've been talking with Lane off camera about is the auto industry and what's going on with them. It reminds me a lot like the mortgage collapse.
Wow.
The difference between that is that there's probably more. I don't know. That would be an interesting statistic. What I'm thinking in my mind is, how many more homes are there than there are cars on the road or cars that have been sold over the past, millennia?
A lot.
Yeah, and
A lot.
But what's happening with the auto industry is that prices are starting to come down because they've got too much inventory on the lots. Interest rates are up, so it makes it harder to afford to get those cars off the lots. Capital One, Ally, and there's another financer of vehicles that have pulled back their flooring cost, or not cost, but their flooring funding. So they're no longer giving money to the dealers to say, hey, you can have these on your lot and you pay us X interest. The interest has not only gone up, now that they've actually gone ahead and pulled the funding for the flooring. And on top of that, delinquencies have gone skyrocketing. And repos are getting a lot of, there's a lot of repos ending up in the auction lots and houses that aren't selling.
I don't think delinquencies are soaring. I think they're increasing, but still significantly below averages for across the credit gamut, Will. How do I look? I can't even tell. I'm way up there.
Looking okay to me.
No, but you
looking
said
good.
that the other day, and I don't think that's accurate. I think we're still well below what would be considered like a historical average.
It's I was watching Car Edge. Car Edge is a podcast with a father and son, and they were saying that it has gone from a normal average of about 2.7. They're like at double. They're like 5.2. But I agree with you, and it may not be enough to I mean, it's going to be interesting how that impacts the industry as a whole anyway. So I'm like,
Well, but they could also have a lot like Rick used to have, like a buy here, pay here. Like they focus on delinquencies.
but a lot of those guys are going out. A lot of the smaller used car,
Not in Reno.
well, maybe not in Reno,
Or in
Reno.
Roundhouse.
Ooh,
right?
man.
But a lot of the mom and pop shops that have bought at the wrong spot. They bought and they're holding on to their price because they just can't afford the loss, and they're going to incur the loss anyway. So I mean, it's obviously a mechanism, or it's a barometer of what's going on with us economically, with inflation and whatnot. I mean, on a national level, you know what I mean? It's an indicator. It's not necessarily the rule.
Well, when inflation is down, I mean, you don't get the prices back, right? Like prices are still up.
Right.
But inflation generally has come down quite a bit.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, has it?
Yes, it has. It's actually, instead of it being in the 5s or 6s or maybe even higher than that, it's down around 3.
Well, this is always my problem with the inflation numbers, right? Because they're like inflation is down, but the average person doesn't feel that for 18 months, right? Because inflation goes down, and then they have to adjust their life to the increased prices from the elevated inflation. Because the prices don't go anywhere. For some products they do, for gas they do, for some groceries they do, but largely the prices stay up.
Right.
Even though inflation, like the rate in which they're increasing drops, but it's not like the prices themselves drop.
So the purchasing power has gone away.
Yes, the purchasing power, the decrease in purchasing power remains the same.
Right.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Right.
It's just that it's not still losing.
Ah.
What do you mean? What's not still losing?
Like you're not losing purchasing power. No, you're not getting back the purchasing power you've lost while inflation was high, but you're not losing anymore when inflation comes back down.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, your
So it's
purchasing
leveled
power
off.
is still static.
And what's that?
It's leveled off, is what you're saying.
Yeah, but it takes a while for wages to catch up. People have to renegotiate leases. There's a bunch of things that go into it, right? So there's a huge delay in when, like, the government says inflation is down, and then when the average person making less than, say, $70,000 a year actually feels that prices have settled.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a massive delay there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to track what you're saying, and what's coming into my mind when we're talking here is that one of the talking points from the other podcast is that in 2019, prices have doubled since 2019. In other words, if a vehicle that you wanted to buy in 2019 was $30,000, that same vehicle now is $50,000 to $60,000.
I mean, I think that's a little bit of an exaggeration. I don't buy double.
Well, I mean,
It probably was at its peak, but it's not now.
Roughly.
I'd buy as
yeah.
much as a 50% increase.
yes, that's what 50%? Yes, not double. 50% is what I was trying to say. So
Yeah, I'd buy that. Like a $20,000 car is going to cost you 30 today,
35.
maybe depending on what it is.
Well, and also it's going to come down. I mean, because there's so much inventory now out on the lots of new vehicles, and this is totally aside from used vehicles, but even those prices are starting to come down through incentives and through.
Well, and this is the other thing I told you, right? Like the car industry, far better than most industries, sort of self-subsidizes.
They can self-subsidize, yes. They don't self-subsidize across the board. It's only on certain models.
Well, yeah, but that's always been that way. It's always targeted sales.
Sure,
Wow.
sure, but it's also on certain number of months too. It's like they never subsidize for anything longer than 60 as an average, 72 on some outside number of months. But it's primarily your 36, your 48, your 60 month loans that they're subsidizing the interest rate on.
I don't know. I've seen some 72s out there lately. I think just the average length of a car loan has gotten longer, and as that's happened, they've started to subsidize the longer terms.
Sure, sure.
Because it's in their best interest, right?
Yeah.
You can sell a higher dollar car, probably better margin as the price goes up. Plus, you're still making the financing fees. The subsidy doesn't matter to them. I mean, it does.
It does.
Like in a large scale sense, it does. But if that's what you have to do to keep your sales up, like to maintain flow through like production and delivery and sales. That's what you're going to do because one is far more important to them than the other.
Right. So that's basically capital outlay. It's like how much capital of what we've already earned or how much capital are we going to put towards reducing an interest rate for X vehicle over X months. And it's like they're going to say, okay, well, if we do that, we subsidize, it's going to cost us, it's going to cost us a percentage point to get it reduced, 3/8 of a point. Because it's never, 1-to-1. It's always like you pay more to get a lower rate, but that lower rate is only 3/8 of a percent or 0.5%.
Well, but they also don't care about that over the life of the loan.
No, because somebody's going to service that loan, and so whoever they sell that loan to is going to
also how
gonna
many
make
people,
some money as
How
well.
many people keep their cars for the life of a loan? In this, I mean, we have a really bad habit of buying cars too quickly.
Sure.
Like just as a population.
Last I heard, the average car ownership is 3 years.
Yeah.
Right, on an average.
So
On
the length
average,
of the length of the loan, as long as they're pulling the financing fees, really becomes irrelevant.
Well, no, I mean, there's a profit margin there. I mean, so it's when we used to sell our loans off, we would hold on to the loan itself, but we would sell the servicing, and the servicing companies made bank on basically servicing the loan, collecting the payment, making sure the payment goes through and all of this, and it's applied correctly. That's another component of profitability, not for the note holder, but for a third party company to make some money. So there's that needs to be calculated into A, cost of vehicle, B, interest rate, how much, what are we squeezing our profit margin down to?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is a disproportionate amount of that profit margin happens by the time the car is sold.
That makes sense.
A disproportionate amount of that profit margin.
Comes when the time is sold, at the time the car is sold. So when they're getting that car off their books, when they're pulling the financing fees that happen right up front, right? And then the stuff that happens after is far less important, I think, to most of the people that sell new cars than the stuff that happens in the beginning.
So I'm still curious. So it used to be that when the car left the lot, it dropped, like 15% in depreciation or something like that?
I think it was more than that. But honestly, listen, I'm not a car guy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just, like, from the bits and pieces I've heard over the years,
Yeah.
I've had it downplayed to me many, many times in the car business. The amount of money they're making off the loan, like the individual loan payments.
Oh. Okay.
For whatever that's worth.
Okay.
Listen, first, has anyone actually said that this is the Daily Torch?
Oh,
And
No,
we're
you
live
just
on
did.
Sunday night.
No,
you
that
just
was.
said.
If
that
you
was-
like what we're doing, like, comment, subscribe.
Look at that.
And also,
Pretty
you guys
smart.
completely buried the lead. Like, we're in the mountains in California, Nevada, and winter's finally hitting, and you guys are talking about car sales.
No. Winter didn't
no.
hit. Winter hit Carson City.
Yeah, dude,
And
say what you
Gardnerville.
want. I was on the Nevada side of Heavenly, and I got some pretty good powder today.
But Nevada side, yes.
Yeah.
so yes, the atmospheric river that has been pointed at us is now here. We are experiencing a good amount of snow, more down in the valley.
Yeah,
More
what's
than
this?
we've
What's this
seen
wee
yet
stuff?
this season.
Yeah.
I don't know what this wee stuff is. Me
so-
and Kevin are experiencing this atmospheric river.
Mo's walking out on us. She's like, I don't want to hear about it.
She's like,
No
I
more
don't
white
like the
devil
white
talk to
devil.
us.
Yeah.
I tell you right now, I bet Mount Rose and Palisades are going to be the shit.
So along with the atmospheric river and all the snow that's come on, so is vehicle driving stupidity.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
I've seen some stuff.
You almost got hit.
I did. Well, I almost hit somebody.
Again.
But it technically would have been their fault.
Yes.
Because they made, now, mind you, in most places in California, Nevada, right on red's legal. But at this particular stoplight, it's not because it comes out of a blind alley. And even if it was legal, at no point did they actually stop.
Yeah.
I watched the whole thing. They skated right through, right in front of me. If I hadn't been paying attention, I would have slammed right into that driver's side door.
Yep.
So it was a super California stop.
Oh, yeah, it came out of the alley right here.
Oh,
No,
nice.
that-
I was
that-
coming back
this
into the
alley right
corridor.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, how funny. Or not funny.
Yeah, I was coming back from Cal Lodge.
California stop has hesitation, Kevin.
Not anymore.
That-
It's
that was-
California. It's just go.
No, that's called running a red light or a stop sign.
Yeah.
That's a ticketable offense.
Oh.
They may
a
have been
Floridian
they may have been
stop.
on ice.
Yes.
Before I saw them, they might have slid their tires. Their tires weren't sliding when they pulled through, but they might have started sliding further back and just been like, "F it, we're going for it," which happens in a snowstorm.
Yeah,
YOLO.
And so, and that right turn.
Frequently
Now
up
I
here.
understand that right turn. What you're saying, they were taking a right turn. Now I can put it in context.
I mean, there's a big sign on the other side of the intersection that says "No right on red."
Yeah, exactly.
it was at that one.
Yeah, in between CVS
Oh,
and the entrance.
Yeah. Ooh, no.
Yeah.
Danger zone right there.
I'm
Too
not
dangerous.
sure. Are they even supposed to be coming out of that alley?
Not-
Yeah, you
Right
can.
turn
You,
only.
you can. Yeah,
There's
you
a
can
light
leave.
there.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because that's where all the delivery trucks come out of.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But it's only right turns. You're not
It's
supposed to
and
go
it's
left.
only right when it's green
Yeah.
because it's a really awkward alley.
So
Yeah, it's fun. Is it what I would call a recessed alley?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a blind turn for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Because you're not going to see that car coming out of there. Coming from California, you're not going to see that car coming out
yeah,
of that
because it's
alley.
behind the
Dude.
CVS.
So
But no, 19 miles an hour on a 30-mile-an-hour road that's not snowy. There's no snow on the road. It's just wet. And
I had a
there's
guy-
these two trucks.
Just- I was going up Kingsbury today to go up to Boulder Lodge, and I was giving the car in front of me a fair amount of space, right? But I was behind someone. There was nowhere to go. There was about 6 cars in front of me.
Right.
Gave him a pretty good lead distance, and I see in my rearview mirror this car's coming up behind me doing 45, and I'm looking for outs for a car going uphill. Like, if they can't stop, where am I going?
Where am I? Yeah,
Yeah.
where am I going? Yeah.
When people do that, do you also hear Danger Zone just start to play? When dudes are just starting to speed right by you?
On the way down, there were a bunch of cars. Like, there was NHP dealing with a bunch of nonsense.
Oh yeah.
On the way to Boulder, so there was one car buried at the top. They didn't make the turn and went into the snowbank. And then about a third of the way down Boulder, that hill, coming the other direction, was a brand new 2-door Defender that had ditched in the little gully. And that car's not going anywhere until Wednesday.
Do you have pictures of this Defender?
Oh,
I
that would
thought
be
about it. I didn't
so-
get them.
See,
Well, you know what?
I can't allow you to slander the good name of Defender.
Well, I'm willing to bet that we could go back up there tomorrow and take some pictures.
How
Oh,
dare
it's
how
probably
dare you,
still
sir.
there.
How dare you?
Well, the question is, do they make it a 2-wheel drive Defender or no?
I hope not.
After that
'Cause
ridiculous
that's
commercial,
That's
no.
what I would think.
No, they have that commercial where it parks on the back of that ledge, and it's like it can go anywhere. It can go up 35 feet vertical. Blah 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 blah.
And that's what the driver of that Defender was thinking. It can go anywhere.
the
got
vehicle
this.
so
can.
let's put it over here in this
I
gully.
mean, it was going uphill. I drove up my car up that hill just fine.
Yeah.
And it was on the side.
Yeah.
Do you think they were coming down and they spun? Did a
I thought about
180
that.
into the
There
gully?
was nothing in the snowbank indicating impact. It's like they weren't paying attention or they got squirrely in the back end and overcorrected because they just slid into the gully. But there was nothing on the snowbank right there indicating they hit it with speed.
No.
Okay.
Well, see, you know the difference, Lane, is the Defender is made in a shed somewhere in Sheffield.
Yeah.
And your car is made by a rallycross championship team who knows how to put a car just about anywhere.
Fair. I was just surprised to see it. Like, that's not a car you expect to see ditched on the side of a road in a snowstorm.
I mean,
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
so
Your
I mean,
car-
someone paid a lot of money for that 4-wheel drive capability.
Yeah.
so I'm probably going to go up tomorrow.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I can't go up on Tuesday.
Well, you're going to be stuck if you go up Cal side.
I'm going to be stuck in regards to what?
Wind.
You think it's,
I bet.
well, if it's windy, I'm not going. And
Oh,
I'll-
that's going to be windy.
Yeah.
Well, I'll look at what do I look at? I look at
The Epic app,
No, I don't rely on
your people.
that easy. Yeah. My people are Weather Channel.
What do you mean, you people?
There's a guy, Michael Schneider
Oh yeah.
on YouTube, and he does a 10 a.m. and he goes, and one of the first things that he addresses is wind speeds.
What
So
about
it's like-
what about Noah?
I use Noah.
I don't get over there very often.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, I don't because by the time I'm focused on Snyder, it's like he's pulling information from Noah.
Ah, okay.
So
But yes, rest assured, it will be windy.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, they've been wrong before, and I would pray that they are going to be wrong again.
They were wrong today on the Nevada side. It was completely still on the Nevada side, while everything on the California side was getting shut down.
You know what? I mean,
Blew my mind.
I'll ring you up if I go over to Boulder.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm probably going up tomorrow,
that's what I was thinking. Because if
especially if it snows tonight. I haven't seen if it's coming through, but we're supposed to get another 5 inches tonight,
so
5 or 6.
I've been watching the.
I gotta force
I've been
myself
watching
up.
the app and then I've been watching the Weather Channel app, and we're just overcast here and over on the South Lake Tahoe.
Well,
So
it's not supposed to start until
late tonight.
late,
Like-
almost tomorrow morning.
Yeah, like
technically.
Yeah,
three-
two,
like
two
two,
or three.
three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, when you come up, let me know. I
I
want to
keep-
run you through a lesson anyway.
I keep meaning to, and like every time I get a chance, something comes up. Like the kids don't have school tomorrow again, and I'm just like, you know what? I spent a whole day with them today. Maybe I'll just go and snowboard tomorrow.
Yeah, I know. Like, my gym's closed tomorrow because it's a county gym.
Yeah.
Casey,
I'm sorry.
Are you sorry?
It wasn't
No.
just the smile of discontent. It was the little bit of a nod back and forth in Lane's head.
It was,
That was-
if there's anyone who can get Lane to have that disapproving face, it's this guy right
guy.
here.
You and me can do it
Holy
relatively easy.
I'm telling you, Lane, those are going to be our first T-shirts.
so snow in Tahoe, lagging car sales, idiot drivers.
It must be February.
Speaking of idiot drivers, Casey,
Oh, yes.
I heard F1's
Oh,
moving some people around.
Oh, yes. You know it's February when the F1 news starts to just pour out like hot garbage.
Yeah, but this is way bigger news than you normally get.
No, because this is the news that we've all been waiting for a bajillion years, and that's Lewis Hamilton is going to Ferrari.
do you think he really is?
Next year, though,
He-
right?
It is
He is.
officially
It's
confirmed.
done.
It
It's
is done.
happening.
It's
It is
done.
signed, sealed, delivered. He is heading to Ferrari for 2025.
No.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. And Carlos Sainz already said that he's out, and he knows it.
Because he drives for Ferrari.
Well, okay, because 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
Ferrari came out and they said, "Oh, Charles Leclerc, he extended his contract."
okay.
And they were real shady about the contract. They didn't say how long it was for, they didn't give any details.
It just got extended.
And then McLaren did the same thing with Lando Norris. And I feel like that's because somebody started calling Lando Norris and was like, "Hey, you want to maybe not be at McLaren anymore?"
But does he actually really want to drive for Ferrari? And I'm talking about Lando Norris or Hamilton. I guess Hamilton does because it's done deal, right?
Hamilton, yes, he. It took him a weekend before we heard from Lewis, but Lewis came out and said he has decided to make this decision. Like, this is the time to go for it, and it's basically just his swan song for driving Formula One, because as he says to everyone else, every driver wants to drive the Scarlet Ferrari. So this is the time to go. They're
Okay.
not competitive.
Right.
Like
That's-
Mercedes isn't competitive in comparison to Ferrari. They have basically the same speeds.
Got it.
Granted, the Ferrari eats up tires like it hasn't eaten a meal in forever, so it just goes through rubber like it's nobody's business. They have to fix that problem.
Yeah, I mean, the real question, Casey, is what do you think is going to happen when he goes to Ferrari?
I think
Like, is he pulling a world championship from Ferrari?
no.
So,
I mean, well, maybe.
I don't know, really. I mean, does he have some kind of inside line on what Ferrari's going to be able to do
Well,
to make themselves separate?
From what I hear, he's really all about the believability of the vehicle he's driving. So forever, like when he jumped from McLaren, he went to Mercedes, and that was because Mercedes basically was like, "Hey, when the new engine comes out, we're going to have a really good car."
Right.
So he jumped from McLaren to Mercedes, and sure enough, Mercedes had a very dominant car for 7 years.
Right.
Now,
Do
you
think-
look at the car spectrum, and you're like, okay, well, Ferrari's car was like 0.2 faster than the Mercedes car last year. So, all right, it performs a little better. But I think really it's what he likes is I think he just likes the fact that he gets to drive a Ferrari.
Yeah, you
yeah,
think
but
it's that simple?
Do you
I
think
think
there
it
was
is.
a little bit of emotional bias in that decision?
If you're going to go Ferrari, there's always emotional bias. Even Schumacher said that. Like when he made the decision to leave Ferrari, it was like the hardest thing he ever had to do because he loved driving for Ferrari.
Right.
You know, everyone who goes to Ferrari, the first thing they say, Seb did it when Seb decided to leave Red Bull. He was like, I'm going to Ferrari. And it's an emotional decision because I'm a German and I want to drive the Ferrari.
So you don't think who pursued who on that one? You think Ferrari pursued him?
I mean, I imagine that there's always a phone call to Lewis every year about the potential to come over to your specific.
Well, there was last year before he
Yeah.
signed this 2-year contract that he's pulling out of for a year.
Yeah, there was definitely last year was definitely like, oh, we don't know if Lewis is going to stay after the
2024.
controversy of 2021 when he lost to that.
Controversy, you say?
Yes, you remember he lost to that stupid rule,
Yeah.
you know, for that race restart when they should have stopped it, but they didn't. Yeah. So everyone thought he was just going to retire, and then he was like, no, I believe in Mercedes. I'm going to stay for Mercedes because we're going to do really great things with the W13, and that car was shit.
Yeah.
He legitimately came out a lot of times and just said how much he hated that car. It drove like absolute garbage. And then they said, well, you know, Lewis, we really want to do this. And he's like, yeah, the zero pod thing doesn't work. Like, we need to catch up with everybody else. And then Mercedes did. Mercedes like, oh, well, now we're going to develop this car. And then everyone was like, yeah, Lewis is going to stay with us. And then Lewis is like, nah, I'm good. I think I can go to Ferrari.
So, you know, it's funny is because all I'm thinking in the back of my head is that Lewis has his pulse on something with Ferrari, and Ferrari's going to do something to basically get back in the game of being Ferrari in F1.
Listen, I'm sure Ferrari made a bunch of big, bold statements.
Oh, yeah.
They had to disclose some stuff to him to get him to sign that contract.
Yeah.
Do I think they're going to follow through?
No.
You don't
Remains
think they're
to
going to
be
be able
seen.
to perform what they've...
I mean, to catch up to that Red Bull is going to take a lot.
be real difficult from
Yeah.
where they are.
Yeah.
They said if Mercedes doesn't get a second a lap,
Yep.
they're not going to be competitive.
Yeah. So what's 2/10
That's
faster?
obscene. I mean, that's ridiculous.
That Red Bull,
If that's
man,
accurate,
it's just so good.
it's going to be such a boring season.
So they've got to get basically 70 seconds faster per race
Yeah,
to win. Yeah.
to win,
to
Yeah.
be competitive.
or
Yeah.
to be competitive.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
And-
lot.
That's a
And
lot.
knowing Red Bull, they might be underselling it.
Oh, you know. Oh, Christian Horner doesn't tell anybody anything.
Yeah.
You mean, wait a minute. I thought that was... Isn't Mercedes saying that they have to get 1 second faster?
No,
per
that
lap?
was Red Bull,
Red Bull.
saying if Mercedes doesn't get a second a lap faster, they're not going to be competitive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, you're right. It's probably what, like 40 seconds because that's pretty much the average of how fast Max was ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling like it's like 40, maybe 50 seconds, but still, like
That's a lot.
That's stupid.
That's a
when you're
whole
talking
min-
racing, that's stupid.
Yeah.
I just don't know what this season's going to look. And it might be the worst season of Lewis Hamilton's career.
Oh, because
I
he's
mean-
not going to get anything.
Oh, I mean, listen, I'm a vindictive son of a bitch. If I was Toto Wolff, he would be blackballed from everything. Conversations, upgrades, and I mean everything.
You know, I thought about that, but here's the problem: is he's the most like technical driver they have. They need him. They need his input to make that car better. I think what they'll do is they'll take his input and put it in George's car, and then go, okay, Lewis, we'll give you the upgrades next
Listen,
week.
are they going to listen to him? Sure.
Yes.
Are they going to tell him what they think about what he's saying? Not in the slightest.
No, definitely not. No,
Yeah.
he's blackballed. He's gonna have a vacation year. He's just gonna sit around, show up to race, be done.
I mean,
20 go.
I'm
that
way
would-
more vindictive than that. He'd be the reserve driver real quick.
And when you say he's
Yes.
and when you say he's going to have an off year or a vacation year,
Yeah.
you're talking about 2024.
the
This current
season
one that
this,
we're
this,
walking
this
into.
season, yes, this season he drives for Mercedes.
Yeah.
This is his swan song, basically.
With Mercedes.
With Mercedes, and,
And then he
takes,
goes into Ferrari and
his
has a
Ferrari.
real swan song.
And I don't know because they haven't said again anything about his contract. I don't know how long he's going to Ferrari. That they've been real hush hush about that because I want to know if he's going to.
Oh,
stay.
I thought there was a dollar amount already assigned to
Well,
it.
there's a dollar amount, but they didn't say how long.
Oh, but you can work that out probably.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
put it
probably.
market 15% above per year above Verstappen's contract, and then just divide that by the total, and you've probably got the number of years.
Yeah. But, 2026 is the new motor, so I wonder if he stays on for that.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as figuring out the time, I think he's in. I think he's signed for 20. I think he's in for 2026.
Yeah, just to see the new motor.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I don't think he's got a lot of.
contract
I don't think
after
he's
the
got a
fact.
lot of faith in Ferrari figuring out how to keep tires on the road between now and then in this car.
Well, I wonder if his driving style is what they need to make those tires last.
I don't think so.
No, you don't think
No,
so?
because he was having tire problems in the Mercedes already.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like, how many times did you hear him over the radio bitching about his tires?
But yeah, but he does that. That's his
Yeah,
race thing.
but this year it was right. Like, he was bitching about his tires, and he was in 12th.
Yeah, that's true. He was falling down a
Yes.
lot instead of being like, "Oh, my tires are shit." Yeah, you're in first, Lewis. We don't care.
Yeah, this wasn't that year.
Okay,
Like,
we are checking.
this year his bitching was accurate.
Yeah, that's and who knows? Because this year is, I think, a new tire compound from Pirelli.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think they have updated the compound to be a little bit stronger.
So we're gonna get more
So
exploding
we
tires.
might get more explodey tires, which would be fantastically exciting.
What was that, Charlie?
Who makes the engine for Red Bull Racing?
Honda.
Yeah, Honda.
For a little bit longer.
Honda for the next 2 years,
Yeah.
and then it's Ford, baby, and then it'll be Ford versus Ferrari.
Again.
Again.
Yeah, part
So-
deuce.
Speaking of
Dude, you know what you said-
domestic engines, you guys talked last week or whatever it was about Andretti
Ah, yes.
not
Sad-
getting a
sad day.
team.
No, so the FIA came out with their decision because we were waiting for them to decide
Oh.
because he had paid the entry fee,
Okay.
which is not cheap. He filed all the paperwork. He had all the things ready to go. They were building a factory. They were building a car. They have an engine. Like Cadillac put a lot of work into this. They were hiring people with the assumption that in 2025 they were pretty much going to get the green light. And the FIA came out and was like, "Yeah, no, we're good. We don't need you to be. We wouldn't gain any popularity by having your team. Your team would gain popularity from us." Is basically
Dude.
their excuse.
Interesting.
Did you
Yeah.
see like the email thing sounds like it was legitimate.
Yes.
Like it went to spam in December. I'm not entirely convinced it wasn't just a giant temper tantrum by the FIA.
Yeah, if it went to spam, you know there's probably a reason.
Because it was sent by some office assistant and not anyone like meaningful in the FIA.
Yeah, well, that's why today Andretti actually said they put a statement out, and they said we didn't know there was an option to come and actually have a sit down conversation.
Yeah, I read that.
Or we would have. We would gladly come out and talk in person.
Well, he flat out he's like I'm not turning down the opportunity to talk to the FIA. Like I'm not telling them no.
Yeah, exactly. Because why would you would take that meeting
Yeah,
in a
every
heartbeat
time.
and be like, you can't fuck us like that.
So are you guys thinking that FIA is going? We don't need a team from America over here in our arena. We can get the same coverage and interest by having another race.
Honestly, I think the FIA is thinking 3 weeks after that email doesn't get returned, oh, he's too good to return an email from us? F him.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking happened. I think
So
it was
there
petty.
wasn't any kind of rationale.
I mean,
there's a race over in the United States, adding another one.
I think, well, this is the thing. They just filed copyright on the Chicago Grand Prix. They're looking at adding another American race. I legitimately think they created a rationale to disguise how petty they are.
Yes. Because let's be fair, what this really boils down to
Sure.
is money.
But he's got money.
No. So each of the 10 teams gets a percentage of the pot of money, right?
Okay.
And it's based basically on how long you've been there. So Ferrari automatically gets way more money than everybody else does because they've been racing consistently for 75 years. But everyone else gets all this like 35, 40, 50 million dollars, which is a big percentage of their cost cap they're getting back from the FIA for Formula One.
Okay.
You add another person to that, now your money goes down from what you're getting for free, and you have to shell out the money that you're losing to that other company.
Got
and I
it.
think that's really what it boiled down to, was it was just money.
Yeah, but I
Other
think they
people
would have
didn't want
made.
that.
I think they would have made more money. I think he would have covered that. Plus, there's the buy-in,
Yep.
which is what, 600 million or something.
The initial buy-in is $200 million just to get in.
I
And
thought
then,
it was more than that.
well, then you have to prove that you have the capital for 3 years worth of cost cap plus something else. I think there's another buy-in option you have to pay. So I think you have to have like $900 million.
So they would have got. I'm assuming a fair portion of that gets divided amongst the teams.
Yes.
So I'm assuming they get part of that.
Yep.
On top of that, like how much more compelling is a Las Vegas race at the end of the season where there's nothing on the line if there's an Andretti team?
Well, not only that, but Formula One is owned by Disney.
What?
Yeah, they own the rights.
They own the television rights. They
Yeah.
don't own Formula One.
Yeah, they don't own the FI, but
But that's also Liberty Media, right? That's also an American company.
yeah. So you would have been like, why is the American arm of the FIA not like, we want this team? You imagine what we could sell?
It just doesn't make sense.
It really does. I don't get it at all. But they did say, and the other one was like, well, you could reapply in 2028. And that's a big slap to the face too. Oh, really? I have to sit out now?
I'm not entirely convinced if they give him a personal meeting that the decision that holds.
It's got to be overturnable.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to go and basically show fealty to the FIA, and they're going to come up with a compromise, like 2026 or something.
Lane.
I hope so.
Like show fealty. I love it. No, it's great. I mean, I automatically think of the medieval times. When you say
No, I get that. But listen, when you're talking about the FIA, like, it is what it is. If you're trying to create a racing team and it's in F1, you're going to have to grovel a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm just getting a kick out
You're
of-
just
getting a
harassing
kick out-
my
No, I'm
vocabulary.
not trying to harass
Yeah,
you.
no, I get it.
It's your vernacular
It's your-
he likes.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
the vernacular.
Made up words.
Yeah, vocabulary.
Vernacular's not a made up word.
No, his made up words.
No, if you've ever seen John Wick, it's definitely not a made-up word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's right. It isn't.
No, but I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think it's stupid. I want like 12 teams. I want Formula One to have a bunch of cars.
I think there's going to be 12 at some point.
So they've got what 20 lines right now.
20 cars.
20
Yeah.
cars.
It's 10 teams with 2 cars a team.
Right.
So, Andretti would have made it 22.
Would have made it 22. So do you think we'll get to a 24
It used to be big.
bigger?
Like back in the 90s ish.
Yeah.
You had to qualify to race, and the top bottom 5 dudes or whatever couldn't actually race because there were so many cars. Like you had to sit out and watch the race because you couldn't qualify.
How many cars were there?
I think it's max. There were 36 cars on the field.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a lot of
That
cars.
would be awesome.
that's why it was so crazy. And then they came up with these really weird, if your car wasn't doing a certain pace time, you were out on practice. So
I
then
mean,
you couldn't
listen,
qualify.
I'm not opposed to the qualifying to race, but I do think that the eventual field should be smaller than 36.
No, I
24 seems like a pretty good number.
24, maybe 26.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a 13th team if somebody really wanted to.
Well, or run 24 or 26 with 3 or 4 teams knowingly not going to qualify every weekend. I don't know
Yes.
who buys in for the amount of money you have to spend, but I'm sure someone's game.
Oh, yeah, it'd be way more interesting.
And it would make those bottom teams, one, it would make the bottom part of the race a lot more interesting. And 2, it would make them more competitive. They wouldn't just be able to sit in last place with terrible drivers like Nikita.
Oh, don't talk about him. Yeah. don't bring him up. God.
But you know what I mean? Like, they got away with him.
Yeah.
Because, there's no real, in golf terms, you're always making the cut,
Yeah.
regardless of how terrible you are.
So you want there to be a cut line that some people just can't get.
I'm not opposed to that. I mean, if there's
That's-
teams that are willing to spend the money to be a part of that at the bottom, fine. All for it. Because it would make it far more compelling.
And interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
No, it would, and because qualifying is kind of boring.
And listen, if you're talking about the American audience, when you know there's going to be losers, the ratings for qualifying would skyrocket.
Oh, hell yeah. And there'd be some betting going on too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, it would change how it was bet in Vegas. Well, because last season, guys come in here and ask me, well, if I'm betting on Formula One, who am I betting? I'm like, if you're not betting Max Verstappen, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, unless it's in Singapore.
I don't care what the odds are. Max Verstappen every race, and you're probably going to come out ahead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do they have in horse racing?
Or like a perfecto?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Win,
I wouldn't doubt
win
it.
place.
Yeah, I think there is a top 3.
the
You can
trifecta?
pick the top 3, yeah, and what place they're in. So that would be fun.
What are you guys smoking? I'm sure we haven't covered this.
I'm
I was gone on the front, but
You didn't miss much.
I'm smoking that. Is this the first or the second signature? The red one, Casey.
That would be the red one is the signature number 2.
All right, this is good.
I'm smoking the darker Guardian of the Farm.
Oh, I
like that one too. Both Guardians of the Farms are good.
Yeah.
Signature. Who's the manufacturer?
Aganorsa.
Aganorsa.
the signature size.
I'm actually smoking the. Let me see if I can remember correctly. Alec Bradley.
Where's the Jeopardy theme when we need it, Casey?
I know. It looks like he's about to fall asleep on camera.
It's not. It's not the Nano. Oh,
The
Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper, yeah.
I like it.
Gatekeeper's good.
It's a pretty specific flavor profile. It's not my favorite for that size.
No,
No, it's a little too.
a little too much.
Yeah, it doesn't have enough of the bolder, like higher pitch notes for me.
Oh,
What's
not
going
enough.
on, Soul Slasher?
Oh, Kevin's
So
brother's here.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
So it's not bold enough.
No, it's not that. Like, it's rich enough for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that actually is accurate. So it's rich enough, but it lacks the peaks in flavor.
Got it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's
Yeah,
I agree.
it's definitely a rich cigar, and I think that I like that description of it, richness. It's like because I thought of chocolate, and it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
got that.
It's not without flavor. It's just missing a couple of notes for me.
It doesn't have the kick.
Yeah.
You want those punchy notes a
Yeah,
little bit
Well, I
more.
want
definitely,
balance.
definitely doesn't have that kick.
If it's going to be that heavy on the low end, I definitely want some balance on the high end,
Right.
is what I'm saying.
That's
Okay.
fair.
It doesn't need to be that rich. You can balance it out both ways, and I'm happy to smoke that cigar. But it's for me, it's a little out of balance.
Gotcha.
Got it.
I have the Macanudo Inspirando Green.
It's a good one. That's the
I
Brazilian one,
love
right?
that. It's the Brazilian one. It's so
Inspirado,
good. Inspirando?
I don't know. I'm asking.
It's Inspirado.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah, you're getting there.
My pronunciation is no bueno.
Oh my god, dude! I'm smoking this whiskey that Charlie gave me. This is fantastic.
You're smoking
You're
it?
smoking it, huh?
Drinking it, whatever.
That's the Masterson, right? Is that what it's called? Masterson?
I think I
Yeah.
just like the character on the bottle. Bat Masterson's a really cool story.
Yeah. No, that's
Like
fair.
really cool Wild West story.
And I'm just drinking the rare character from which one was this?
That's Liquor Lineup.
Liquor lineup.
Yeah, it's one for
It's
Vegas.
good.
You like that one, don't you?
It is.
Yeah.
It's got a slight spice and kick to it for me.
There you go.
They do. So Rare Character also has a label called Fortuna,
Yeah.
and the guy in Galena got 4 bottles of the Fortuna barrel proof.
And how much is he asking?
He sold me one.
Oh.
It was more than I should have spent,
Oh.
but I got it anyway.
curious
Fancy.
So bring me up to speed here. The whiskey or the rye that
Rye, that's a rye.
that's right, that you're drinking is called Masterson.
Yeah, Masterson's 10-year, which I really think it's just. I think it's sourced from MGP, if I'm being honest. But MGP rye is really good.
And Bat Masterson
It
Play-
says
play-
imported.
Oh.
plays into this how?
He's just a name they put on the bottle for marketing purposes, but I like it.
Oh, okay.
He was part of the
Tombstone thing.
yes,
Yes.
like he was part of that group of people.
Right.
Just gambler, gunman, just an interesting story.
So he's a marketing tool.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's all it is.
Okay.
I mean, I have no illusions. It's got no connection to him.
Well,
but they
I was-
picked a good name.
Well, I was wondering if they were trying to, infer that, that it was his his mix or his preferred taste.
No, they say it's a whiskey in the style that he would drink. Like they know that.
Yeah.
They might,
Because we have a time machine in the
Yes.
backyard. and we
but
have
it's
a
good.
stove.
It's really mellow for a rye. I don't know where it comes from. It doesn't taste like an MGP rye. It might be something else. But
Really?
it's sourced for sure.
But you just said it's imported?
The bottle says imported.
Yeah.
Imported.
Which it could be from like Alberta Premium. It could be Canadian rye. But it has that sort of subtle rye notes like you would get out of a Canadian rye.
Okay.
It's not sharp. There's a lot of oak in it. It's good.
That's good.
Well, I just had to pull together the thoughts on what?
That's fair. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about? Who's going to be our next president? You asked me this the other day, Will.
I know I did ask you that. the
You
other day.
know. My
I think you were
problem is-
hoping for a different answer.
Yes, I'm definitely hoping for a different answer.
I have a problem
What's that?
What's
with
that?
with presidents right now.
Of course.
They're terrible.
None of them are good options.
They're
We're
terrible.
literally
No,
digging
none.
through a shit.
And I mean none.
None of them.
doesn't
there
matter.
is not a single person.
I mean, even from front line all the way to fifth line back.
no, yeah, there's
Yeah.
there's not like a second team guy I want or a third string guy. No, it's fucking terrible.
Oh, come on,
Right.
Kate. You're not going to feel good if Gavin Newsom enters it for the Democrats
God.
and Biden drops out?
Sir, I will reach over there right now and strangle you with that cord. You, on live TV that we're on right now,
That
I
would-
will strangle the shit out of you.
That would probably be an appropriate response.
I mean, if you think so.
Oh,
no-
we have a request for bourbon suggestions
Oh, yeah.
from your brother. What do you normally drink? Put some stuff in the chats. What do you like? What don't you like? I'll make some suggestions.
Yeah.
So, Biden definitely no. Harris definitely no.
He's kind of a
Newsom,
jack guy.
Definitely no.
I think the Republicans are keeping in their back pocket. I think there's gonna be a whole second marketing campaign directed against Harris once we get past the primaries.
Sure, it makes sense.
Because she is far less popular than Biden and probably, if it's even possible, less competent.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Well, no.
It's going to be something like a vote for Biden is a vote for Harris in 2026.
So-
it's going
Catchy.
to be
That's
so
catchy.
crass.
I like that.
that's yeah. I saw something that
I just picked it up.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm a little slow on the uptake.
I saw something saying that Trump is starting to have those kind of delirious moments that Biden has.
I mean,
He's
he's
lost.
almost as old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was
I think-
mistaking the one chick for Pelosi or whatever.
But the
And
Pelosi.
it wasn't
Yeah.
just one.
No, it
it wasn't just one
It,
time.
it wasn't
few
one
times.
incident. It's a few times. Yeah.
But that said, with the way he speaks, would you ever really know it?
No, not really.
I mean, how far does he mentally have to fall before you notice it in his speaking patterns?
That's true. Disney needs to work on that animatronic because it's not working right.
Yes. It's shorting out for sure. They're like, we're in the Matrix. You're like, no, it's just a Disney animatronic. From the old President's Ride at Disneyland, whatever that rotating wheel thing was.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Somehow there was always a line and you never understood why.
You were like, what? How?
Well, how are people getting on this ride?
Why are you going on that ride? Once you've seen it, you don't have to ride it again.
Yeah.
But I was
So-
thinking about this, and my problem really is just the candidate choice. It's so terrible.
Yeah, yeah. We're
I mean, yes, it is. And when I saw this pop up the other day, it was like, okay, no Biden, no Harris, no Trump, no Haley. DeSantis stepped out. And then it's like, okay, well, what about other parties? And then there's Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Robert
Yes.
Kennedy Jr.
what's the place
Something
down
like
in
that guy.
Vegas?
And I'm just thinking, not even that's a good option, you know?
No, I mean, I like him.
Do you?
I mean, I think he could work a little. He doesn't have the speech down that
No,
I think
he's not as polished.
Yeah, he needs a little practice and some speech writing. Maybe he needs a better speech writer.
Who is this?
Junior, Kennedy Jr.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think Kennedy just needs a better speech writer and some practice.
I mean, he's going to be on an independent ticket, I think.
Yes.
He might run as libertarian.
But I mean, even if we were to look at those other alternative parties, right? And I say alternative parties, they're not. I mean, are they really an alternative party? They're a legitimate party.
No, I mean, I will
They
listen.
are.
RFK is legitimately a libertarian.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
He's
Yeah.
he's got some conservative leanings. He's got some Democratic leanings. But really, what he wants is almost no government
Right.
and to make his money. Hey, real
Yeah.
quick, I'm gonna cut you guys off real fast.
Okay.
So, if you like, this is for Kevin's brother.
Ah.
If you like the Jim Beam profile, try the Baker's 107 single barrels. Any of the Booker's products, if you can find them. If you want to spend a little bit less money, look for like Old Granddad 114. There's some other stuff out there that you probably won't see. Those are probably the three most likely you are to see. If you want a little bit lower proof, the Old Granddad Bonded is a pretty good beam product to try. All those will probably fit your profile and be more complex, similar profiles, but more complex, more oak, a little bit more proof, so they'll come across a little bit sweeter and rounder. But I would give those three a shot for sure.
You could also take a look at our old shorts and look at some of the notes that we talk about on there.
I think we've reviewed all of those except for the Bakers.
Yeah, I think so. What's the place down in Vegas where
Liquor lineup.
Yeah, liquor.
Any of the
lineup.
liquor lineups. There's one in particular. I think it's the number 3 store. I'll give you the address, or I'll give it to Kevin later. They've got a fantastic whiskey selection.
that they do.
And it's
Also, if you
close.
see the Baker's 13, it's going to cost you a little bit. Definitely worth a shot.
nice.
And I just tried that other one that you got. What was it? Stag Junior.
Yeah.
That one was
Stag
really
is
good.
Yeah, that's a whole different
Yeah.
flavor profile. I'm not
Yeah.
going to bad. I think Stag's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite Buffalo Trace product.
But I figure if he goes around, he can try a couple different things, find something that he likes. I know he likes the Jim Beam, but I mean, there's
but if
other
we
ones
could-
you could try.
But if he didn't like the Four Roses, he's starting to like walk away from the fruit notes a little bit. The Stag is a little bit more savory. It's a little bit deeper. It's got some more cinnamon in it.
Yeah.
I would start there. Get used to a little bit higher proof because all good bourbons for the most part are going to be 100 or above. Get used to some of the higher proof stuff and then start tasting different things. Because if you expand your palate on proof in a flavor profile you like, then you can start expanding your palate after that into different flavor profiles that you might like. Because you'll already be used to the proof.
Fair.
There you go.
I was already drinking whiskeys kind of regularly, and then you started like showing me all this other stuff, and now I'm like hooked on a bunch of things.
Right? It happens fast.
Yeah.
And my wallet is getting very slim to
He's
it.
turned me into a snob too, because I went
Yeah.
to a liquor store like 2 days ago, or no, Thursday, before I came up here, because I was like just stopping because I was talking to Logan about one, and I got to try to convert him. And I went in the store and I looked around them all. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Oh, that's good. Too expensive. Garbage, garbage, garbage. That's not a bad choice. Garbage, garbage. I was like, damn it, Lane.
What have you done to me?
What have you done?
You used to drink all these. Now I'm
All
just
right.
disappointed.
Back to presidents.
Yeah.
Where were you at, Will? Sorry I
So,
cut you off.
Yeah, thank you. If not Biden, then who? And
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
As a
I could see that.
And Casey.
Democrat, Republican, or other.
Well, and here's the other caveat that I was going to throw at it is what happens if Trump gets DQ'd, disqualified?
Then Nikki Haley becomes the next president.
Oh, God. I mean, seriously, oh, God.
So here's the problem with that, right? So we're getting a little late.
That's
late
where
in
I
the
was
game.
going to go next.
So because DeSantis has already stepped out, Haley is going to get some delegates.
Can he step back in?
Well, yeah, but I'm about to explain the problem,
okay,
right?
okay.
So Haley's going to have some delegates through the primary process where DeSantis isn't in it anymore. So Trump gets DQ'd. Say he gets DQ'd late enough that DeSantis can still get on some primary ballots, but he's already playing from behind, and they were pretty even already. So he's got to make up the delegates that he missed out on by pulling out of the race.
Oh.
So you just end up with Haley as your Republican nominee.
Do you think it'd be a struggle for him?
To catch up?
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be able to do it. I
In
think
his
they were
back
too
end?
close. I
Yeah,
think they
you
were
don't
too
think
close
so?
on the front end
Okay.
Well, why can't he acquire some of the delegates that were previously?
because he pulled out of the race. They've already been decided. My guess is they're going to strike Trump's delegates, give Haley whatever she's got in the balance, and then they're starting at whatever the next state is. Like if he's out for Super Tuesday, there's no coming back.
I see. What you're
Because
saying.
whatever small amount of delegates she's going to pull is going to be insurmountable from someone starting the race that late.
So what you're saying is he can't acquire any of the delegates that Trump had pulled because
I don't
so
think
why-
they'd reassign him.
They can't reassign him.
I don't know the Republican Party rules. Like it's not a state thing; it's a party thing. I don't know the party rules. My guess is not. My guess is they just strike those delegates.
Okay.
Ah.
That would because I was thinking, well, why couldn't he acquire some of the previously assigned delegates? You know.
There's gotta
Because
be a
I don't
rule.
think they'd be available. Is
gotta
the
be a
answer.
rule.
They might be available. I'd have to go look at the party's charter. I don't know how they do it. My guess is it becomes really complicated, and you end up with Haley running on the Republican ticket. And at that point, if Biden doesn't step down, I think she houses him in the general.
Sure. Sure.
Because I think a lot of those independents that were never Trumpers will vote for her because they also hate Biden. They just don't hate him as much as they hate Trump.
That's really fair.
I mean, that's my general impression. It's not professional. Like, I am not a professional political operative in any way. But if I had to put money on it, that's what I would bet on.
That's yeah.
Okay.
So if it does make it all the way down to Trump and Biden,
I think it's Biden.
you think it's Biden again?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
unpullable independents swing that race to Biden every time.
Okay.
After the first time.
Right, because independents really at this point just take votes.
Do you think he'd make it through the whole term?
Oh, God, I don't know.
Who,
I
Biden?
mean, listen, if he gets elected a second time, I will, every ounce of my being will want him to make it through the term because the alternative is Harris, and she will be
Yeah.
a disaster. Like, she might legitimately be the first president to get impeached. Like, her party might actually vote against her at that point.
Really?
Yes.
That's fair.
And then replace her with whoever. I mean, listen, when she was actually running, it took Amy Klobuchar 3 minutes to eliminate her from that race. That's how incompetent she is as a candidate, and I don't think she'd be any better in office. Like, she's not an ugly candidate that does well once she's sitting in the chair. I think she's ugly in both.
Ooh.
Does the 25th Amendment count when they impeach somebody?
The
25th is not an impeaching.
No, I know, but doesn't that mean that the person takes over? Isn't that the 25th Amendment?
yeah, it would be the presidential order of succession. It would be the vice president.
Oh, okay. But I mean, if they got rid of the vice president, like if Biden was out and then Harris was in, I guess she'd be president. So then she'd have to have a vice president.
Yeah, they would name a vice president. Otherwise, it would become the Speaker of the House.
Speaker of the
Yeah.
Oh,
House.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
And then the Senate pro tem. And then after that, it gets really, really uncomfortable.
So, the Senate and or Congress as a whole can impeach Harris if they wanted to, right?
And I mean, I would not bet against it. Listen,
No,
it's
wait a minute.
50-50 whether she would be the first president to actually be convicted in an impeachment trial.
No, let me back up a little bit. So Harris is our vice president.
Yes.
Can Congress impeach the vice president?
Oh, I don't know, probably.
Okay.
I have no idea.
So
Yeah, they could, because they're about to try and impeach the Secretary of something, of Homeland, like
Oh,
whoever
yeah,
oversees the border,
Oh, yeah.
which is
yeah.
stupid, but that's a whole other thing.
Mayorkas. Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking, what do you guys think about Speaker of the House? Was it
Johnson, Mike Johnson,
Is it Mike Johnson?
the most vanilla name in modern history.
So
Mike
what do you
Johnson.
think about him as possible?
I don't know
president?
enough about him. He's kept his head down.
Yeah,
No, he
he's-
does, and he's that kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Where he's not a flamboyant politician.
I mean, he's got the look.
okay.
It's funny. You see, like,
That's fair.
So Jason Palmer ads have started to show up on, like, YouTube. And every time I see him, I'm like, dude, there's no way this country's electing you president. Like, I'm sorry. It's not happening.
Who's Jason Palmer?
Some random, I think he's a Democrat. Like, I've never gotten past the commercials.
Oh.
Because I don't believe he's super progressive, but he's also a tech guy. Like,
Interesting.
Wow.
I don't think he's got the political savvy to serve in that office. I think he's got a bunch of ideals and would run into a bunch of walls really fast.
So any candidate that might have any kind of weight would have to come out of left field. In other words, it would have to come from a different party than the Republican or the Democratic Party.
Not necessarily. It would have to come from an unexpected place. Like most of the candidates that, like Clinton, kind of came out of nowhere, right?
Yep.
You have to be able, like, there's this thing. I don't know if this is accurate, but it seems like if you're going to get a left field candidate, their ability to make a first impression is their most valuable tool. And that's usually what carries them late through the primaries and into the office.
Huh.
Because you never get, like, you make an initial first impression, it's fantastic. Like, Clinton's first impression was amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it just carried him all the way through. Also, I think Senior just didn't care for that office anymore. I think he was getting tired. Because he'd basically been doing it for 8 years.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Will's perplexed.
No, I'm just thinking that Senior had his. Oh, because he was vice president to Ford.
He was vice president to Reagan.
Reagan.
To Reagan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and after, like, Reagan's last term was a little sketchy.
Right. And so that's his first 4 years. And then the second 4 years is that first term of president.
Yes.
And he didn't
What-
have an appetite for the second term.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, he said he was trying. He's said over and over before he passed away he was trying to win, but it felt like he sort of lost inertia.
That's
But he'd also been, like, even before he was vice president for 8 years, he'd been a part of national politics for a really long time. Before that, he was the director of the CIA.
exactly.
Yeah, that's the job.
Dude, I don't.
That's the job, right
If there's
there.
one job that ages you faster than being the president, it might be that one.
It's the director of CIA. Yeah.
That's got to be a terrible job.
Oh man, just report after report after report.
Well, and think about the stuff that you're deciding whether or not, like, what goes to the president, what doesn't go to the president, what actions are we trying to recommend. You're talking about like killing people and subversive action in national politics in other parts of the world. Like, talk about just a tough, stressful position.
No shit.
Yeah.
Plus, at this, I mean, and then after the first World Trade Center, the subway bombing, after that, you're talking about national terrorism.
Oh,
Like,
that's right.
Think about the stress that puts on somebody.
Yeah. No, that's very fair.
But he was in a time where terrorism wasn't as prolific as it is today.
Well, but it was the beginning of it, and it was globally. It was,
Was it?
but he was
Yeah, I guess
around.
so. Yeah,
he
it
was
was.
around when it crossed our borders.
The head of the Joint Chief of Staff.
No.
Isn't that the Leo McGarry job?
Would be worse.
No, that was Admiral, whatever his name was.
Oh, okay, that's right. That was the admiral. That's right.
Yeah, Leo McGarry was the chief of staff, and the admiral was the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
Ah, okay.
I know they both have chief in them, but they're different titles.
Right.
One's basically the second in command of the army next to the president, and the other one is the guy who does the president's dirty work.
Admiral Fitzwallace.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I remember. I think the problem too, though, is like so many people are like, "Oh, the president really matters," and I don't think the president has a lot of power, like as much as people think.
What do you mean?
No, because he's supposed to be just a figurehead.
Well,
Essentially, he's just the face of the country.
CEO, essentially, right? He's
Yeah.
the chairman of the board, right? He's the chief executive officer of the executive branch. But let's go
the
back.
president of the United States. POTUS.
Yes. Yeah,
POTUS is
the POTUS,
basically the CEO of the
Yeah.
United States. He basically directs the
But
executive. He's the executive branch, right?
he's the CEO of the executive branch.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think most of the things that get done in this country go through the Senate and the House. I think that's where most of the power resides.
Most of the stuff that we do, yes.
I would say that's inaccurate today.
So
Is it?
legislatively, yes. I mean, but
Okay.
they tie their own hands behind their own backs.
It's not even that. We got a bunch of comments too. In theory, everything that the initiation of everything that happens in this country at the federal level should come from Congress.
Should.
But presidents have used executive authority and executive action like substantially more than legislation for the last 20 years.
Okay.
Because we've had a more and more divided Congress, they've been less able to compromise on any number of things.
Yeah.
So presidents have just started acting of their own volition.
Yeah. But so he has power, but I just feel like
He's got a fair amount of.
They have a lot more
I mean,
power
he's-
than they used to.
do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
because they've been effective in vetoing things or signing things into.
No, because Congress has been completely ineffective.
That
Like,
too.
in a power vacuum, someone will take control.
And it happens to be the president.
Yes, in our system, it's been the president and lobbyists.
So
So I miss Clinton, man. Can he run again?
No, he served 2 terms.
I know, but he's been out for a while. Can we just make a law lets him come back for a third? I think he was the last good president. I mean, I like Junior. Don't get me wrong. I think Junior did some good things when he was in office.
not as
You
good
know,
as
he wasn't the most
Clinton
verbal.
did better than
but
Junior.
Yes, I did. I think Clinton was the last really
Clinton-
good.
I mean, but
president.
you know what? There's going to be a contingent of conservatives that would say absolutely not. He was not.
Well, I think Clinton and Senior both were answers to, because Reagan swung this country in a lot of ways, like hard right.
Right.
And I don't mean like ideologically. I mean like the way we spend money, the way we look at policy. He took this country in a very much a smaller government, like more federalist, control on these issues but not those issues. I think Senior and Clinton were both sort of pragmatists. Like they both lived mostly in the center and veered off in their party's direction for specific issues, especially for wedge issues.
Okay.
Wedge issues.
But were mostly like about doing the job,
right.
right? And then after that, Junior's sort of an anomaly. Like he was a believer. He's a different animal. Like he was in that position trying to serve ideology that he'd cultivated over any number of years. And then after that, I think it transitions from people that were trying to do the job to people that were trying to be seen doing the job rather than actually doing the job. And I think that holds true for Obama, for Trump, and for Biden.
Okay.
I think Biden would like to do the job. I just don't think he has the tools.
That's fair.
Or the cognitive function right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that. Like, I don't want to be that guy. It
yeah.
might be true. I have no proof of that.
Well, yeah.
But at the very least, I can tell you that he's just not competent.
Well, and
Like-
we know that you're surrounded by smart people,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
I mean, you're supposed to be surrounded by smart people. So it's not just him making those decisions. Like, he's got a whole staff full of people who should be smart to help him go in the right direction.
Well, yeah, that's
But
why
I
you
don't
have the
think
cabinet.
I don't think he get out in front of. I don't think he can't get out from in front of himself. If that makes sense. Another what I'm trying to say is, you got all these smart people, right? And they give you all the right answers, and but you don't know that they're the right answers. You just don't connect the dots.
Well, but that's the job, and you're never going to know if it's the right answer. The job is vetting information and making the best decision you can, and then selling it to the country.
Right.
That's literally the job.
right. But I don't think he knows that how to make that best decision.
I don't think he's trying to do that. I think Biden.
I agree,
Listen,
yeah.
I think Biden, if Biden was doing the job, would be a lot like Junior, and that he's serving an ideology. He's serving his particular ideology. I don't think he's open to new ideas.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense. What you?
I like that.
I'm not sure Senior was open to new ideas either. I think Clinton probably was. I think Senior probably was too on some level.
Well, Clinton, his biggest thing was he was able to play both sides of the aisle pretty easily. He was able to talk to both sides, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was mainly his biggest claim to fame there is being able to get things done and passed because he was able to talk to both sides.
Yeah,
But
I think so.
he was also open to different perspectives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I
think
really do.
Clinton was strong enough intellectually to sit in a room and listen to people that argued with him and be okay with it
Right. And I don't think.
and try to understand their position.
Which is
and I don't
what
think
it should
Biden's
be.
there at all.
I mean, that's
in
what we
that
do in
regard.
here.
I don't know that any of the last presidents have been there.
Yeah, it's been
but
a
whether
while.
it was pride or mental competence or take your pick, I don't think they're doing it. Your
Okay.
brother mentions term limits here, and I think he's absolutely right.
He is right.
I think there should be term limits. I think there should be if you're talking about Congress, call it a 2-term extension on limits for people serving in leadership in particular committees. For Senate, call it 1 term. I think there's value in that. I think there's institutional memory is a real thing, and having people that can carry on a little bit longer to pass on to the people as they move through term limits is important. But even they should be term limited. But I think if you're serving in certain positions, it should be slightly longer. Call it 4 to 6 years longer than the term limits that exist for everybody else. And if you're just a backbencher, yeah, for Congress, call it 3 terms. For Senate, call it 2.
Time to move on.
Yeah.
What about age? Do you think there should be an overlay on age in regards to that?
Like a
So-
cap on age?
Yeah, basically nobody over the age of 78.
Because 35 is the minimum for a
Right,
president, right?
right.
I would have a hard time capping age. I would not have a hard time instituting some sort of competence, and honestly, at any point.
Like
Evaluation.
yeah.
A competency evaluation.
But then here's the problem with that. Like, this is the issue, right? It sounds good, but who determines what the competent test looks like? Because you're never going to get both parties to agree. So,
I
and
think
at
it'd
that-
have to be outside. You'd have to
Yeah, but
find an
who?
outside source.
yeah,
But who?
I don't know.
Like, will
Get a
you-
bunch of geniuses in the
Can
room.
you- You can look at the way, like, when senators were chosen, not elected by the states.
Right.
That's a certain level of competence exam, right? Because you have people inside, like in the system, who understand the requirements, vetting the people that take those positions. We got a rig with that. We went to a different system.
Right.
Right? So I don't know, like, it's really hard to take the choice away from people. If they want to make bad decisions, that's on them. There's not much you can do about it.
well, I think just having a flat cap, 75, 78, anywhere there would be, to me, it's like it takes out the what is competent, what isn't competent, and then getting the two different parties to determine what's an acceptable level. I think, bang, 75, 78.
But
it
let's-
doesn't,
But listen, if you institute term limits, the likelihood that a competence exam for age is going to come up decreases exponentially.
Right, because they're
Yeah.
not serving that long.
Yeah, well, who's gonna run for their first term at 74?
But nobody.
And if they are running for their first term at 74, if they can come out of nowhere at 74 and make a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds look stupid, you probably deserve the office.
I'll
well, did
vote
you
for you.
just describe Trump?
How so?
wasn't he like 72, 74?
Yeah, but he was our oldest president until Biden.
Right. Right.
Right.
Interesting. I mean, you don't think just a flat cap would work, huh?
Well, you wouldn't have to worry about a flat cap because again, it would be, you know, if I'm, let's say I'm trying to get into politics and I'm 35,
Right.
right, and the term is 6 years, I'm out by 41.
Are you talking about term period?
Well, yeah, well, you're
I
going to
mean,
have term
can't you
limits.
you can go term here in Congress,
No,
the floor.
Like you have to treat it like the presidency.
Ah,
So like that would have to be the rule, right?
Okay, I
If
see
you've
what you're
done
saying.
2 terms in Congress and then you limit it out, guess what? You're done.
Yeah.
That's it. You have provided your civil service.
okay.
Right? Because it's a service position. It's not a career position. It's a service position.
Gotcha.
You are serving the United States of America, right?
Uh-huh.
So guess what? Go ahead. You're a congressman. Cool. Guess what? You served for your 6 years. Go do what your law degree is for and be a lawyer or
whatever
something.
you do
go
after
help
the
some.
fact.
Go help some other guy try to come up and be like a, I don't know, like a teacher. Teach other people how to do things that you learned in politics and help them get into politics. But again, you do not get to run and be in that position because then we also keep the ideas of America, right? Because the guys in Congress right now have no idea what's going on in America. They don't have the pulse on America. These guys are millionaires and billionaires. They're going to corporate meetings. They're getting billions of dollars for making decisions. And then that's what they do. They sit there and they go, guess what? I'm a politician. I make $100 million. I don't know about you, but I don't have $100 million.
Well, the thing is, but
Kevin,
then
do you have
again,
$100 million?
but then-
Yeah, see? Exactly. I want somebody who knows what it's like to struggle living off of $36,000 trying to pay off your college loans. And then they get to become a representative and say, hey, my state's hurting
So-
because these are the things in my state that need to be fixed.
So having said all of that,
Right.
it gets back to, okay, what about somebody being 72, 74, coming into his first arena as president?
Again,
I mean,
you know, if
he
you
hasn't
can
turned
prove,
out-
if you can prove it, if you can, because even a lowly peanut farmer can be president.
Right.
Right. That's the saying. Right. And granted, it was an insult to Jimmy Carter because
Right.
Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer.
Right.
Jimmy Carter did okay.
Yeah.
But the insult was there that even a lowly peanut farmer can be president. That's the beautiful thing about this country. If you really want to be president, you can be president.
Right.
If you stand up in front of the population of the United States and they vote for you, you did something right. Like that's just how it has to be. You've done something right in that aspect.
But but to cap out on terms, and I'm not saying that I'm opposed to terms,
Right.
but to cap out on terms eliminates the guy who's probably more qualified to step into that next level up of serviceship to being the president. I mean,
Well, but Congress and representative term limits would be different. I mean, you could run for president afterwards if you really wanted to.
oh,
There's no
okay.
limit on that.
I was under the impression that once they termed out, regardless of
Oh.
which house they were in, once they termed out, they were done. You
No,
can't go.
'cause
You
you
can't
would-
go and try for another higher office, so to speak.
Yeah, no, you would like let's say let's say you got in at 35, right? And you decide to be a congressman.
Right.
And let's say you get let's call it 2 terms. So that's 12 max.
Okay.
Let's call it 12 years, right?
Right.
By the end of your 12 years, again, you've worked with the people and you have a really good understanding of how it works.
And they have an understanding of how you work.
Right. And then that's when you say, you know what? I think I'll run for president. And now you're in your mid to late 40s, early 50s, and you're running for president.
Right.
But you've already served as a congressman.
Yeah.
You've got that backing, and
So-
you've got your finger on the pulse.
So if you were president and you decided like after your 2 terms were served,
Mm-hmm.
are you able to go to like work in like Congress or any of that afterwards?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
Curious.
after you're president,
Yeah.
right, the world gets kind of different for you,
Well, yeah.
right? Like you still can't drive a car. You still can't do a lot of the things that you would normally do, right?
Right.
Like once you're done being president, you're probably just going to write books and give lectures.
Well, how come you can't drive a car after being president or while you're president?
It's a security thing.
Okay, so after president, it's still a security thing. Why?
Yes, it's still.
You still have
security.
Secret Service
Yeah,
after you're
you
president.
still.
Yeah, you have the option to have Secret Service still, right?
It's not an
mandatory.
option. It's only an option if you're willing to provide your own security instead.
Yes.
Oh.
You have to have security after being president.
Is that because you have all that information that you've gained, or
I believe you still get access
Oh.
to that information, right, Lane?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Although it's not guaranteed. They still just do it. I'm pretty sure.
But like you get the reports from the services and stuff like that.
right?
And so you have to still be protected because you also now remember you were the president. You know secrets. You know things about this. You need to be protected because there are people who are going to come after you theoretically, and that's just like Junior. He lives out on his 100 and something square mile farm.
I'm curious what your brother's saying no to. I didn't.
It was probably something that we were talking about.
Okay.
No,
It was probably the car
I
thing.
missed it. Sorry, but yeah, you have to be protected. So once you're done being president, you kind of just live.
Yeah,
You just exist.
so you can't really do much fun things without.
No, that's why they have really nice houses and a bunch of land
You,
somewhere.
you
so
can
they
go
can
build.
just,
You can go build homes with Habitat for Humanity.
there you go. You can do that with the Secret Service.
I mean, that's
helping.
what Carter did.
That's what Carter did. Yeah. I mean,
I liked Carter.
still
I
like,
really did.
He was.
I mean,
he got a worse rap than what he actually.
He was a
accomplished.
terrible president. By all accounts, he is a fantastic person.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah. That's. Thank you. That's well put. Well put.
I still want a cap. I want an age cap on presidency.
I want term limits more.
Yeah.
I
like
feel like-
hands
No,
down.
no. I think we could have both. To tell you the truth.
I don't think you're getting both. The cap is really hard to institute.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You don't know when it's going to hit you. I mean, there are some indicators that, your cognitive abilities are declining. I mean, it kind of comes with age I'm living it.
Yep.
But that's not what I mean.
But I don't know when it's going to be even more of a
I'm talking about the process of getting it. Like, all these would be hard. Term limits have been almost impossible. But instituting an age cap outside of something like FDR serving 3.5 terms, right? Something way out of the ordinary that causes everyone for a brief moment to agree, you're never going to get it. Because you're taking choice away from people, and people don't give that up easily. Moreover, people will be told by every media outlet and every person in their party who might have it be approaching that cap that they shouldn't give up their choice for that easily.
So how do we get the cap for starting at 35 for president?
I think it's in the Constitution.
No.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
old.
is that
that's
from
old.
the original
Yeah,
Bill of
that's
Rights?
old.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think it's in the guidelines in the original articles.
Okay.
And I like that number. I think that's a good number.
It's a good start number, but I feel like he's right. There should be a cap on age, but at the same time, I do like the
well-
fact that everybody should have term limits if they're in Congress, if they're in the House, if they're.
I'll tell
in
you
the
right
Senate.
now, if a dude stands up in the middle of Congress and starts talking about term limits, that's the dude I'd vote for president.
Oh,
Yeah.
they've done it. They get shot down so fast.
I know. 'Cause
But it's
there's-
such a good idea.
It is, and don't they have term limits in other countries? Are there
Yeah,
term
we have
limits?
term limits on governors. We have term limits all over the place. We just don't have it at the federal level,
Really?
except for president.
Wow. What did your brother say?
Oh, he's agreeing on a lot of things.
Ah.
He's said that the age gap would be really hard to institute, which I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get that in place. Is my problem. Even there are parts of it that are a good idea. I think you miss out on some really competent people, depending where you set the cap. I just don't know how you get it.
Well, didn't they say that now that we're alive, somebody was born that will live to 150? Because right now our
Well,
age is 120 of people living.
I mean, thankfully, medical science has gotten better.
Yeah.
And we eat healthier, we live healthier to an extent. Some of us, but there are certain aspects now that were not present a long time ago when some of these rules were made.
Yeah.
So the real question is, do we have to really reevaluate and make amendments to the Constitution by taking those factors into effect?
I feel like they should be
But-
something that we take.
But I'm with Lane. I don't know how you just cut a line off and say no. If you're that old, you can't, because you're right, Lane. That is taking away someone's freedom, right? And the other part is
Well,
if you had term limits.
What you have to remember, Casey, it's not taking away the freedom of the person running for office. It
No.
is, but that's not the most important one. It's taking away the freedoms of the voters, which is a much bigger deal.
Oh, like how could you make it so I can't vote for this person?
Yes.
I got you.
It's you don't think about it as the power of the person to run. Think about it as the power of the people to vote.
Okay.
That's fair. But
Like, that's
the
gonna be your
people-
hiccup every time.
Wouldn't the people vote for term limits if it was their option?
Listen, I think you get term limits long before you get an age cap.
Yes.
And I think the people at this point would vote for term. I mean, when you've got Nancy Pelosi leaving office with, I don't know, $500 million, whatever she's worth, like the best financial trader in the world, better than the people who do it for a living and manage $100 billion funds, there's something wrong there. Like, she's cheating.
She's somewhere. She has to.
Like,
be.
it's just
she is
that
cheating,
simple.
yeah.
She's cheating.
She is cheating. That's fair. Yeah.
But term limits would also take care of that.
That's what I was thinking, because I was like, if you have a term limit, you're going to try to get in when you can, and then you're going to be out before you can be at the point where someone will be like, well, I think they're too old. I think.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying, right? The age cap becomes a non-issue with term limits because first of all, you're going to have almost no one that makes it to that age serving, and the people that come out of nowhere that can make it to that age inside the term limits did something really, really right. Like, they showed something special to get there.
Yes.
I think term limits take care of age straight away.
I agree. I like this. I like term limits.
So I missed.
No,
that.
I think everyone in Congress should be in a blind trust. Like, they should not be allowed to play the market. I completely agree with your brother
Yeah.
there.
100%. I always thought that if you were the senator of a state or the representative, you should be paid the state minimum wage because it's a service.
And they're making all that money anyway.
They're making so much extra money. It's ridiculous. I think you should be.
Listen, if you take away the extra money, I'm okay with what they're paid. It's not substantially above like a low level lawyer.
Executive or something.
Yeah, I mean, it's substantially below what a CEO is making.
Right.
Substantially below.
Right.
I mean, in some levels, they're making about what a California nurse is making, working a ton of overtime. And you
Okay.
do have some really kooky shit, like they do have to have houses in two places, right? Like, you have to have your domicile in the state where you're elected from, and you have to be able to survive in D.C., one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Oh.
Right? Like, there's some kooky like hitches. I'm okay with their pay generally. I'm not okay with what they're allowed to do extracurricularly to advance their pay.
So if
So-
we had term limits, does that mean we would also have to offer like college housing for the senators? They can all just live in a dorm together.
Well, a lot of them share housing as it is.
That'd be
Oh, really?
fantastic.
Yeah.
Congress
What,
house
like the
frat
California
parties.
senators share housing?
Yeah, like they like you have roommates. A lot of them have, like, especially the backbenchers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
When you say backbenchers, you mean
People who haven't been long enough to hold a position of authority. So if you take a high-level committee position, your pay goes up. If you take a leadership position like speaker, whip, your pay goes up.
okay?
Okay.
Also because you're going to have to be there more.
Oh, thanks, Kevin's brother.
Right.
That's not bad.
So, isn't that second home essentially subsidized by the government?
I don't believe so.
That would be
I've
interesting.
never heard that it was.
Oh,
Are
okay.
you saying?
Employee housing for
Are
congressmen.
you
I
saying?
love
Yeah.
it.
Do they have employee housing? Is that what's going on here? Is that?
Oh my god, dude! You'd have like a permanent media fixture in the like club room.
Oh, the
yeah.
media would have their own. It'd be frat parties. You'd have the frat party of
Well, I don't-
Alpha Beta Fox.
I don't know about employee housing. Employee housing is quite comical, but no. I mean, you have your own residence, and that somehow that second residence is subsidized by whatever, whoever, however.
So wait, they don't have like a senator house like they have a governor house?
No,
Oh,
I always thought they did.
yeah, that's what I was.
Yeah.
that's what.
no.
I
I
was
think
under
the only two
impression
people in the federal government that are housed in D.C. are the president and the vice president.
Oh, vice president makes that
think.
much. Jeez, that's a pretty. And then president makes 400,000, right?
Yeah,
Roughly,
right about
yeah.
there.
Roughly. I would do it for $1.
I don't think that's out of line though. Well, and president, I mean, you're going to make a lot of money after the fact, but you're also extremely limited in what you can do after the fact.
Well, and I learned from that movie that you really don't need money anyway.
Yeah, right.
Which one's that? Which one was that one?
I was gonna say, which movie are you talking about?
It's Michael Douglas is the president, right?
Oh,
You know
Yeah,
what I'm
it was what's his face's movie before The West Wing. It was The West Wing, but in a movie.
Yes, it's the Sorkin movie,
Yeah,
and Michael Douglas is the president, and he's like trying to buy flowers the whole time,
yeah.
and he doesn't know how, and it's hilarious.
And
to
then
me.
he's like, "Turns out I have a rose garden."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good movie.
So,
But you hear a lot of the lines and topics in that movie, and then you go watch The West Wing, and you're like, "Oh, I see it now."
I know what happened. Yep.
What were you gonna say, Will?
So I was just going to take a quick peek at what the weather is doing outside.
Oh, you're gonna take a look at our forecast real fast?
Yeah, and it's
Snow, more snow.
more snow. but
Clouds.
You're right, absolutely starting around 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
None of that
But
sunshine.
even when I was driving up, it was like a light flurry on the
Yeah.
Nevada side.
And that's primarily what we've been getting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got dumped down there. You
Well,
guys
you
got
guys
light
got
flurry.
Yeah, if you want any of that snow, please come. You can shovel it and put it on the mountain. You can take it from my house and my neighborhood's house. If you want all that snow, we'll put it in trucks for you. We'll ship it wherever you want it.
So
You knock it off,
none,
Casey.
none of what you just said makes sense.
Yes, it does.
But,
They got the
but
snow
Helicopter
eater?
it in.
I got some things that only make sense to skiers or snowboarders.
Oh yeah, I saw your list.
So
Which one's that one?
The list.
the list.
Oh, there's
Next
a list.
page, man.
Oh, I didn't go to the next page.
We,
There's
haven't-
like
we
2
haven't even
pages.
talked about your 2A stuff, Will.
Oh yeah.
Kevin's brother agrees with us that The West Wing is good, Casey.
Yes, because the
West
West
Wing
Wing
is.
is amazing.
It
Well,
got me through law school.
At least the first. Remember, we agree. It's the first 5 seasons, then you start over.
I thought it was the first 4.
Well, whenever Leo dies, that's when you stop watching. Is that the 4th season?
I don't know. I don't
don't-
remember the seasons.
I think it's the 4th season that Leo gets sick and dies, and then when they come back, you're just like, nah, I don't have to watch this anymore.
After that, it's a dumpster fire.
Yes.
I've totally gotten stepped on. Not only did I get stepped on by going all the way back to.
We were waiting for you
Yeah,
to turn.
I had to turn the page, so we were filling in for you.
Yeah, we were watching the slow turn of your page as well.
So anyway,
I'm getting harassed. I didn't do anything wrong.
what about the 2A stuff? So I didn't see anything really new regarding 2A. I mean, it's
No, there's the
still-
housing decision out of New York, which I think is valuable. There's the ammo background check being found unconstitutional by Benitez in San Diego.
Correct, but I think that's going to get stayed by the state appealing.
No, it's gonna get stayed by the Ninth Circuit eventually. I don't know when. I was surprised they didn't do it this week.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised as well. But anyway, so there's really nothing new. I mean, the emergency, the unconstitutionality of assault weapons and ammo. That's probably what the newest is.
Yeah, I don't know about the assault weapon stuff.
So,
They keep refusing to. The Supreme Court keeps refusing to issue any sort of emergency orders. They're waiting for all this stuff on the merits,
right.
and they're willing to take their time. That's the moral of the story. The Supreme Court is willing to take their time and get all these cases on the merits and pick the one they want, and then they're going to hear it. Or
Right.
pick the 3 that they want and combine them and then hear them all together.
Must be nice to be a
Isn't
Supreme
that
Court
smart?
judge.
Isn't that the smarter way to do it?
That's what they prefer to do most of the time.
ma-
They're actually doing what they should be doing. It's just that everyone wants to have it faster.
Okay.
They want them to telegraph it, and they're not going to. Because it's not what the Supreme Court does. Listen, they are, all 9 of them, regardless of their ideology, are fairly intelligent people. They all know the law very well. Their
Right.
clerks also know it very well. But they're probably 9 of the most arrogant people in the country. They're going to do what they want to do when they want to do it. Fucking period. Like-
Not wrong.
Facts. These are facts right here.
I've seen that behavior.
Yeah. I mean, that's just who they are. Yeah.
But yeah, where have you seen that behavior?
With them.
Why do you look at me for that?
Because every time I
I-
look at you, I'm like, he's gonna give me that look.
I am the most prompt of all 3 of you.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
You are the what?
Do any of you really want to argue that point?
Not with you,
What are you,
counselor.
What
you
are
can,
you
you
the
can
most with all 3
Prompt.
of us? Prompt.
prompt. Yes, you
Prompt.
you are counselor.
Prompt, engaged. I'll even go so far as to use a word I can't stand, proactive.
Oh yeah, you're proactive.
Ooh.
Of all 3 of you.
Oh, that hurts. That
I
hurts.
mean-
Don't use the word proactive.
Depends
I
on
know.
what it is, I guess.
You already know I'm not very active.
Engaged. How's that engaged?
I'll give you a run for your money in some of those areas. You're going to click your polls together before you send it. Sitting 5 hours in traffic seems perfectly reasonable in order to go skiing.
Okay.
You'll drop $1,000 on a new ski setup, but convince 3 friends to go in on a $32 pizza.
That's a really expensive pizza.
I've seen you do that.
I bought a $32 pizza up here.
While daydreaming, no, while other people are daydreaming about mountain biking in the middle of winter,
Is that what you daydream about, Casey? Mountain biking?
You know me.
In the middle of summer.
I'm all about the mountain biking, man.
All right. We'll pick your next, pick the best 3, and then we're going to get out of here because we're starting to lose people. We're starting to drone on about stuff they don't care about.
That is true.
That might have been a bad idea. I should have given some warning.
Should have.
That wasn't fair.
Nah, it
Wait,
wasn't.
wait, hang on. What is he thinking?
Right now, all 6 people watching are like, what are they doing?
What is going? What is? They fell apart so quickly.
Yeah.
We did.
This,
Every time.
That really escalated quickly.
It really did.
Yeah. I'm really proud of you guys. You really kept your head on a swivel. Yeah.
Having a goggle tan is your strongest tan line. Those are facts.
Oh,
Yeah,
facts.
'cause you get
I
burnt
actually
from
wore
snow.
a face mask for the first time all season this year.
Did you?
Was it
Yeah.
to avoid the wind burn?
what?
No, I was avoid snow hitting me in the face.
So
While you were talking to the
as
people.
a skier,
Yes.
you wonder why snowboarders stop in the middle of the run on every damn trail.
To annoy skiers. I mean, really, go pay attention to traditional snowboarding culture for about 30 seconds, and everything they do is to make everyone else mad.
Yet
What-
another
what
reason
am
why
I supposed to
snowboarding
be
is
watching?
definitely better than skiing.
Oh, it just buffered like hell for a minute.
Yeah,
I
that's
wonder if
what
that was us
sound
or
was.
yeah.
That sound was OBS disconnecting and then reconnecting.
Oh, well, shit.
Yeah, and
But we're back now.
Yeah, it was short. That's why it was back to back. That 2 dings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Of course, I might have made a mistake about an hour ago.
Really?
I hit the wrong button, so I hit start stream, and then I went and started it on YouTube, and then I hit go live on OBS and forgot to hit start recording.
That's all right.
So I didn't do it till about 30 minutes in. So we have to see if we can pull it off of the studios.
Okay. You mean for Spotify?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to close this out.
All right, take us home.
We're a week out from the Super Bowl.
That we
If
are.
you happen to be in Tahoe, 3:30 in the cigar shop. We'll be open. We'll be hanging out, drinking whiskey, watching the game, and just generally being jackasses.
Yes.
Whoa, whoa. I am the nicest person you'll ever meet.
You're the lead jackass. What are you talking about?
All 100% wrong.
This is all facts. Ask Mo. I'm the nicest person you guys know.
Next to Mo, I
Mo's
guess.
like, don't ask me. Don't ask me.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Oh my! I'm wearing some other color that day.
Yeah,
Find
orange.
a purple shirt.
Orange or something.
Who's
Or
the
light
opposite
blue.
team?
The Chiefs.
Chiefs.
They're both
Chiefs?
red.
Oh, yeah,
Red and
yeah.
white and red and gold.
Yeah.
All right. On that disappointing bombshell, this is the Daily Torch. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. It helps a ton.